Hey guys, alright, so today's video, by the way, I know I've been away from YouTube for a couple weeks now, but I was busy finishing up school and stuff, so, but now I'm back and, pretty good to be back, especially right now with how active the tropics just all of a sudden became. We have Tropical Storm Bill, the second named storm of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, which formed yesterday and has been, ever since strengthening through through the 2 p.m. advisory, and currently has sustained winds of 60 miles per hour and a pressure of 998 millibars, and it's moving to the northeast rapidly at 38 miles per hour. Let's show you the current, the most new forecast track from the National Hurricane Center from the 11 a.m. Advisory, or the most recent advisory, and it looks like it'll dissipate by Wednesday. It'll become post-tropical soon, but it's become now. This is now our strongest storm of the season. It's only our second named storm of the season, but it's stronger than how strong Anna was last month, with Anna only having a pressure in around 1,005, 1,006 millibars and only sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. Bill has strengthened quite decently a bit more than that, ever since it formed off the Carolinas yesterday, and has ever since been going very quickly to the north and east, bringing rough surf and clouds likely to Carolinas and much of the mid-Atlantic coast, I would think, and now it's probably bringing some pretty decent rough surf and such to Nova Scotia, as it's starting to get into colder waters, and likely will start going into its post-tropical transition soon. And then, of course, we have another disturbance here in the Bay of Campeche, which its chances of development have increased pretty decently, especially as of the newest advisory. Over the next 2 days, it has a medium 40% chance of development, and over the next 5 days, it has a high 80% chance of development. And the NHC currently says that disorganized showers and thunderstorms continue over the Bay of Campeche and southern Mexico in association with a broad low-pressure area. The system is expected to move a little during the next day or two, and any development should be slow to occur during that time period due to the close proximity to land. However, the disturbance should begin to move northward by Thursday, and a tropical depression is likely to form late in the week when the low moves across the central and northwestern Gulf of Mexico. Regardless of development, however, heavy rainfall will continue over portions of Central America and southern Mexico during the next several days. Heavy rains could also begin to impact portions of the northern Gulf Coast on Friday. Please consult products from your local meteorological service for more information. So I'll show you the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook. By the way, this other disturbance in the MDR, don't need to worry about that whatsoever. I'm not going to talk about that at all. It has a very, very low 10% chance of development within the next 2 to 5 days. Doesn't look like that'll form into anything because of dry air and wind shear. Otherwise, if it did, there wasn't really any heavy amounts of dry air or wind shear, it would likely develop because, especially the warm waters in the MDR also has pretty damn warm waters. In fact, I'll show you a picture of the current sea surface temperatures of all of the Atlantic, including the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, off the East Coast, the MDR, all of that in a moment. The 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook for the Gulf of Mexico disturbance has it pretty much in a general north, maybe slightly northeasterly direction. But it looks to if it does develop into a tropical cyclone, let's say, and it does, and it will definitely hit the Gulf Coast. It looks like it will go over Louisiana and hit Louisiana. We'll see how strong this system gets in the Gulf. The Gulf's waters, again, are pretty warm, so, tropical depression, tropical storm, I would say, are pretty likely out of the Gulf system. Bill was a pretty big surprise, forming off the East Coast, off the Carolinas. That had a low chance of development, and then all of a sudden, boom, pretty soon afterwards, just all of a sudden really started to form. Very best-looking invest, by the way, that I've ever seen, because it was over the warm Gulf Stream waters off the Carolinas, so that really helped it form and become a tropical storm now. Before I go and show you the models, I will now go and show you what the current Atlantic SST anomalies are. And throughout the Atlantic, it is looking pretty warm. Here we go. Daily analysis. This is as of June 13th, so as of 2 days ago. And you can see the Gulf of Mexico, again, has at least 28 degrees Celsius water, so definitely at least just warm enough for decent tropical development. Same thing with the Caribbean, 27, 28 degrees Celsius waters at the least. As well off all the East Coast. In fact, especially recently, the Northeast and New England sea surface temperature waters off the Northeast and New England coastlines have really warmed up quite a decent bit lately. And then, obviously, of course, off the Southeast coast and around Cuba, north of Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, all of those areas, the waters are very, very warm, at least 26 to 28 degrees Celsius. And again, here's the MDR. Especially the western part of the MDR, very, very warm. And then off Africa, where the tropical waves come off of, at least 26, 27, 28 degrees Celsius water. So, again, as we progress further into the season, and if we do end up seeing a lot of tropical cyclones forming in the MDR, I really don't think they should have any problems forming, at least, sea surface temperature-wise, of course. We'd have to see how the dry air and wind shear are acting like at that point with any tropical cyclones that try to form in the MDR. But now let's show you let's show you what Bill looks like on current satellite imagery, satellite loop, and you can see it's moving extremely fast, and the convection around the center is really like waning and blowing up again. Especially you can see the later frames up to the most current frame. It started to like the convection started to wane a bit, and then all of a sudden a big blow up of up to around negative 60 degrees Celsius cloud top started blowing up once again around the center. Bill definitely looked, at least I would say, a decent bit better earlier in the day, and especially overnight last night, but it still looks decent enough for a tropical storm, a decently strong tropical storm, especially this far north. Obviously, it is likely starting to transition to a post-tropical cyclone, and I would expect that to fully occur going towards tonight and into tomorrow, as also shown by the National Hurricane Center's current forecast track of Bill. Now, I'm going to show you the models, particularly for the Gulf disturbance. I'm not going to show you Bill because I don't need to show you Bill. Bill's moving really fast on its way out, being pulled by a front, and will be history likely by tomorrow or Wednesday. And then, of course, that MDR system, that's not going to form anything at all into anything at all. So let's show you the GFS model first and show you what the GFS model is showing for the Gulf disturbance. You can see a lot of moisture is associated with this Gulf disturbance, and as you can see, it's heading northward. The low pressure forms, and the GFS model, and honestly all the models kind of keep it pretty weak. I would say of all the models, the European model is probably showing the strongest amount of vorticity with the system, as it especially moves towards the Gulf Coast. Let's show you the CMC model next, and you can see again the CMC model as well, kind of similar to the GFS, but a bit, it shows the system definitely a lot less organized and a lot weaker, moving again in towards Louisiana. Actually, a lot of the heaviest precipitation, though, is being shown heading into Alabama, Mississippi, and the Florida Panhandle, and then kind of not really doing anything after that point. So now let's show you what the European model is showing, and as I said, the European model is kind of showing the strongest amount of I forgot, this is the 12Z run that is literally just coming in, so it doesn't give me the full thing, so I'll show you the 00Z run of this disturbance, of what the European model shows for this disturbance. You can see it shows as well weak disturbance, but probably the around the strongest, or at least what the GFS was showing, heading in more towards Texas than Louisiana, but generally in that same location that the National Hurricane Center has kind of shown the disturbance heading towards Texas or Louisiana, and it kind of, wow, it really forms off the Atlantic coast after it starts heading through the southeast and off the Atlantic, and then starts Wow, that's pretty interesting. If that were to occur, we'd be tracking this Gulf system for maybe a bit longer, and it might form a bit more into some kind of tropical cyclone, maybe off the Atlantic in a few days. But or well, probably more into next week. But yeah, within the next week, if it were to hold together and enter the Atlantic like the European model is showing, that'd be very, very interesting. But again, for now, it looks like the Gulf disturbance, at the very least, definitely has a good amount of chance of developing. The sea surface temperatures, the Gulf waters look to be no problem for it to help develop. And there doesn't look to be any dry air or wind shear really, or that bad of either to suppress it from forming into anything to keep it from being weak. So could become a decently strong system, kind of like Bill. We'll see. And again, this is the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. We're 15 days into the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Bill is so far our strongest system with 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds and a pressure of 998 millibars. Both systems have been fully tropical. Anna started out as a subtropical storm, but then transitioned to a fully tropical storm, and Bill has, throughout its entire lifetime, has been a fully tropical storm. Current ACE value for the total for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season total so far is at 1.045 units, and likely will go up a good bit as we go through July, and this, of course, the peak of the hurricane season. This year's hurricane season will be very, very interesting to see how active that period is, August and September especially. Obviously, September 10th as well is the peak day specifically of the Atlantic hurricane season every year, so as the most likely time frame or day especially specifically to see a tropical cyclone be active or at least being tracked in the Atlantic prior to it maybe being classified as an actual tropical cyclone. But again, hopefully anyone in the U.S. coastline, living on the U.S. coastline, whether it's the Gulf Coast, living along the coast of either the east coast of Florida, the west coast of Florida, the Panhandle, whatever, in the Keys, and up the entirety of the east coast of the United States. Hopefully everyone in the U.S. is prepared, especially living along the coastlines, and even people farther inland from the coastlines. Tropical cyclones still can move in and still bring devastating effects, such as especially flooding and even wind damage to a certain extent. So hopefully everyone is definitely prepared for this year's hurricane season. You all have all the necessary precautions necessary to survive and get through any kind of tropical cyclone that hits your area, whether it's just a tropical depression or a tropical storm or even a hurricane or a major hurricane. But again, this year's hurricane season, does look to be at least slightly above average in terms of the new averages for named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes. The new average named storm count is around 14 named storms. Average hurricanes is now 7, and major hurricanes is still 3. So again, it's pretty fascinating stuff. In fact, real quick before I end the video, just want to comment real quick on this. But the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, with how active the season ended up being with 30 named storms, first season since 2015 to not have a Category 5 hurricane form. And Hurricane Iota ended up being the strongest storm of the season with sustained winds of 155 miles per hour and a pressure kept at 917 millibars, which definitely, I think, makes Iota one of the stronger Category 4 hurricanes to ever occur. And then Eta was kept at Category 4 like many of us figured it would. It's still at 150 miles per hour, but the National Hurricane Center did decide to lower Eta's pressure just 1 millibar to 922 millibars. But yeah, that was crazy. That was truly crazy. But yeah, 2020 Atlantic hurricane season still will go down as one of the most active and craziest hurricane seasons to ever track, especially for me. First hurricane season that I ever tracked with you guys on YouTube, which was so fun to do with you guys, and you guys have been such great supporters with my channel and growing it and helped growing it and be supportive of tracking the hurricane season last year with me. And I can't wait to do this again throughout the rest of this year's hurricane season with you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. The Atlantic is pretty alive at this point, and we could definitely have our third named storm of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season towards the end of this work week and heading into this weekend. Claudette is the C name for this year's Atlantic hurricane season's C name for the naming list this year. So we could see Claudette form in the western Gulf of Mexico and hit the Gulf Coast later this weekend into this weekend. So hopefully you guys in the Gulf Coast, especially Texas, Louisiana, hopefully you guys are prepared for, especially I would say flooding definitely, and even potentially some wind damage. If you have, if you know, if you live around, if you're houses or anything or around trees, wooded areas, trees could come down if the winds are strong enough. So definitely prepare for definitely both flooding and wind damage, especially. So again, the MDR system doesn't look to form at all. We've already had Bill, the second named storm of the season, and we look to see, well, potentially definitely see Claudette towards the end of this work weekend into this weekend. We'll continue to track this with you guys as we head throughout the rest of this weekend into this weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider liking the video down below, commenting down below what you guys think about how Bill formed all of a sudden, what you guys think of how Bill strengthened everything, and what you guys think about the Gulf system, how likely do you think it will form, and how strong do you think maybe it could get if it does spend enough time over water. How strong do you think it get? Will it just become a tropical depression? Will it get to a tropical storm status? Maybe even could it potentially get to a hurricane status? Let me know down below in the comments section. Let's have a very lively yet respectful discussion down there in the comments section about what you guys think about the tropics right now, and how strong you guys think this Invest 92L in the Gulf of Mexico could get. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please consider liking the video, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, make sure you have those bell notifications on for my channel so you get future updates on the Atlantic hurricane season as we get progress through the rest of the season. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.